ever I don't know what you would call it, episodic.
Yeah, non-direct content related, but tangentially, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I'm already sensing the babble in my own brain, so I just stopped right there.
Well, and in a very real sense, this is a direct response to our friends over at Trek Yards. And let me tell you, first of all, before I go off on them or anything, I love Captain Foley. I consider him a good friend. I know, Jason is a fellow Canadian, so
And I just want to say I don't know these guys from Adam, so I apologize.
You'd actually mentioned to Foley that we were going to do this, didn't you?
I did, but in fact, I did it in the form of a super chat, so you should appreciate that. So, because Trek Yards is they won't talk to you unless you super chat. But sorry, something stuck in my throat. Must have been my righteousness. So yeah.
No.
So what they did was they rated a bunch of Star Trek villains on the old S through F scales. You can see the scales right in front of us. And some of the ratings they gave, I was just so angry. I was livid. In fact, we were talking about it on this show where I was like, oh my gosh, they're giving whoever an 8, like all the TOS
in real time. I think we were streaming while they were finishing that stream. If I
you're good to see it. So yeah, they put all the TOS villains at F tier, and it's like, oh come on, guys, and then so we're going to be a little more fair-minded when it comes to this stuff. So now Danny didn't know this because I just thought of this today, and I ran it by Jason, and he was okay with it, but. What we're going to do is 3 criteria for each villain. And you can see it's right on the screen in front of us. Entertainment value is number 1. Are they entertaining to watch on screen?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. Now, despite, and by the way, all 3 would have to be good to get to S tier, and all 3 would have to be bad to get to F tier. That's other than that, it's kind of subjective. Threat level. Threat level is how dangerous is this villain. Doesn't necessarily mean they have to threaten the galaxy versus an individual, but how real do you feel like the threat is? Do you feel like our hero was in danger of losing?
And you already got a super chat.
Mercer, Merry Christmas, the best Star Trek villain is Q.
Thank you, Mercer. Thank you. It was criminal he wasn't the main villain in Star Trek Generations, in my opinion, or any Star Trek movie.
And then compellingness. Compellingness is how interesting they are as a character. How much do you want to see them? What do are they an interesting enough thing to where you want more of this particular thing or person? And
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the movies, and we'll go through the movie villains first in chronological order, and then we'll transition to all the series. And depending on how far through this we got a lot that we can cover. We'll probably not get to them all because Danny has to stop in 2 hours because he's a jerk. But
because I have cool friends. And for Christmas, I got a really awesome present.
Because he doesn't consider this important.
That's not true. Oh, God.
So let us start because we don't have a lot of time to mess around. And Malfi, we'll get to Q. We'll talk about some Q because Q's going to be a conversation. All right.
Shouldn't be. He hits all of those. What are you talking about? He's the most entertaining. He's the most threatening, and definitely the most compelling. If he's not an S tier villain, I don't know who is. Jason, you're muted, brother. We can't hear you.
I left myself muted when I was clearing my throat.
You're always muting yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm the captain of the mute.
And Mercer loves when we talk about Trek. We're talking about Trek tonight. Nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rant about the lioness or anything else tonight.
No deviations, no distractions.
Good.
But I will say, based on what you and I were talking about, Danny, yesterday, with regards to this, we might want to do a most malevolent characters
Right.
That's kind of how Trek Yards rated theirs.
Because Malevolent is way more interesting because straight up villains. Because like Q, I would classify as the king of malevolence. He's not a villain so much as an antagonist extraordinaire.
When we get to Q, we'll talk about Q. Let's not jump ahead.
Sure.
All right, so let's start with V'ger. V'ger, of course, is the villain or antagonist. No, it actually says antagonist, not villain, from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. V'ger, of course, is a Voyager space probe sent by Earth, found itself on a planet of living machines, and it became sentient because in Star Trek, all mechanical devices, when left on and have a sufficient amount of computing time, become sentient.
And depending on the theories, you believe them or not, the origin of the Borg,
No, that's a video game thing. That is not canonical.
Yeah, that's
and so. But V'ger then came back to Earth looking for its creator, but not believing its creator could possibly be carbon-based units. So we'll start with entertainment level. V'ger was boring.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would agree with that.
V'ger was functionally boring. There wasn't anything.
V'ger didn't do anything.
No, there wasn't anything particularly imminent.
Well, it made those beeping noises, kind of like Pike. He didn't like.
I think V'ger inspired Christopher Nolan. Bow.
Yeah. we had that one really crazy opening with the Klingon
ships,
and then that was basically it.
Yeah. And so threat level, very high threat level.
Yes,
I would agree with that. Extremely high threat level.
Yeah, V'ger felt completely unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then compellingness, again, snooze fest.
Oh yeah.
Once you find out what V'ger was, you're like, oh, okay. And
so not quite an F. So it's like a D.
No. Either I would actually put V'ger as like a C or a D, honestly.
Yeah.
C or D is my vote. I don't know.
I would go with D. Both. Yeah, or that.
Okay, well, I'll go with D as well. I think V'ger is definitely lower tier, just because, you could tell that Star Trek: The Motion Picture was a repurposed script from Phase 2. I mean, it's just
it was supposed to be a TV show. We do all definitely know.
It would make a good episode if you trimmed it down to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek. You know what I mean? It's very Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah. It was. All right, so now, okay, S tier, Khan from Star Trek 2.
Oh, dude, yeah, this is no argument here. S.
I don't think we need to discuss it. Khan, one of the greatest villains of any film of all time. So.
Oh yeah. He tasks me.
Yeah.
He tasks me.
All right,
I shall have him.
Then one that I think gets overlooked, Commander Krug.
Oh man, I love this dude.
Yeah.
I have had enough of you.
Okay, so let's talk about entertainment level. He's one of the most entertaining Klingons I think we've ever seen. He was look. When I heard Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon, now this was back in the day when he was on Taxi and stuff like that. And
this is back. This is after Back to the Future. This is like
right. But I'm just saying, this is. I mean, Christopher Lloyd. Everybody knew Christopher Lloyd as a comic actor.
Yeah.
And so when you hear Christopher Lloyd as a Klingon, you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then he's, not only is he menacing, but he's actually kind of funny. Like, one of my favorite moments was, Captain, the other commander wants to talk. Put him on screen.
On screen.
Yeah. Okay.
And you got to remember, guys, this is the Klingon that is responsible for the death of Kirk's son and Kirk's decades-long bigotry and racism and hatred toward Klingons. It's this guy right here. Yeah.
And yes, Stan, it was a lot like when we got the news that Michael Keaton was going to be Batman. It felt a lot like that.
It's like, what?
Except this was before that. Threat level, I would say mediocre.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, he killed Kirk's son. He's responsible for the destruction of the Enterprise. I wouldn't say
that's success rate. But I'm thinking, like, the bird of prey never felt threatening to me because
clarifying question though.
Yeah,
threatening within the bounds of the story we were watching, or threatening within the universe? Because if it's within the story, he was actually a lot more threatening than you're giving credit for. Because he realized that the Enterprise was nowhere near.
He wasn't dumb. He wasn't dumb.
No, and he could have destroyed the Enterprise right then and there. He was also attempting to capture any and all secrets with regards to the Genesis
device. Yeah. Get out of there! Get out of there!
Give me genitals. All right,
so I would give him.
I'd say maybe B tier.
Yeah, I would put him as a B.
I mean, he's good. He's not great. But
he's a soft B, but a strong C.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you're leaning that way, then I vote B. Then
I think he's underrated. I think a lot of people think he sucked, but he didn't. But B tier. Keep in mind, B tier is not a bad grade.
No.
Yeah.
So,
but he's not A, and he's not D.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely not D, and definitely and I would say obviously not S. All right. So then we have the giant floating space turd.
Jeez, you're killing, and Danny is man down.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure that's called the whale probe, but we can go with flying or floating space turd. That's fine.
In case Cinnabon is seeing this, that's why I did that. Thomas thinks this should be S tier. All right.
I'm going to have to look this up. Anthony says that Krug was pre Back to the Future. I could have swore that was after Back to the Future.
1984 was Star Trek 3.
Damn, so it was before. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
He was known for Taxi at this point. Not Dr. Brown. All right, so the space turd, let's be real. Threat level through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Because
destroying the Earth, ionizing the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I feel like just put him right next to V'ger.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just put it next to V'ger. It's like V'ger, basically. You know, it's like...
It is. It's like V'ger 2.0. It was just a MacGuffin to get the time travel story going. Didn't really have a villain per se. This was just a movie meant for fun and nothing else. They succeeded in that with the film, but yeah, the whale probe was not there to be an interesting villain. It was just there to move the plot.
Heck, I might even vote F. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if I give it F.
Yeah.
It's like this thing is really bad.
Yeah, the whale probe was a plot device more than a villain.
And besides, remember we said all three would have to be bad to get F, and it had threat level.
It had threat level. All right, my OCD is going to bug me. You got to fix that thumbnail.
Oh, sorry. It's a little bit off.
There we go. Thank you. All
right. Better?
I managed to subdue mine. I was looking at that. I'm like, no, I'm gonna let it go.
All right. So where is it? Oh shoot! Did we lose it?
And I did tweet and included both the links, Michael, this time. So sorry.
Well, man, I know I put it on the list, but I don't see it. I might have
good. It actually worked properly.
Are we going with God? Is that
the villain in this one? For the God thing.
What does God need with a starship?
Yeah. What? Let me go back there and see.
Or I guess there's always Cybok.
All right, there. I'm re-uploading this one. There we go. Not God. Oops, and I said There.
There we go.
So yeah. So, okay, let's be real. Entertainment value, 0.
Oh,
Threat level, 0.
yeah.
I mean, God gets
Super chat.
Let's see. Whale Pro is a great villain. I love that it spoke in the Song of Whale, which made it feel alien. The crew had something to figure out. It was, but you see, I wouldn't call the Whale Probe a villain at all. The Whale Probe was just a plot device.
Yeah.
And it was just there because, hey, you know, we need some excuse to have everybody end up in the 80s. And keep in mind, for the main antagonist of a film, it wasn't in the film very much. It was just
Yeah, it was only there long enough to.
It would, and it was pretty weak.
Thanks for the dollar, Mercer. I do appreciate it.
Plot device.
Yeah.
let's just go right straight back to plot device.
Yeah. So anyway, back to not God. So you have a creature that says he was God, and yet could be taken out by a Klingon blaster from a bird of prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And entertainment value, I mean, only in the so bad it's good category was the entertainment value of everything in this movie.
Yeah.
And Mercer with another $1.
Super chat.
Well, no,
So,
that's
Whale
not
Probe,
actually.
Not just a plot device. It's what Star Trek was about, trying to discover new intelligent life.
But they weren't trying to discover it. The whale probe was sent to figure out what the F was going on with my homies.
well,
Yeah, why not hearing from them?
And the crew of the Enterprise, now the Bounty, weren't trying to discover new life. They were trying to save the Earth.
Well, first they were just trying to go home to go to prison.
Right. But I mean, once
So-
they discovered the whale probe,
Yeah.
Do you see what Value of Nothing has to say about that?
we were the
villains in
villains.
Star Trek 4.
Oh, you're playing one of those Time
what?
Magazine
That's
Person of the
you're right.
Year, and it's you. You're the Person of the Year.
Yeah. And so and then compellingness, nothing. I would vote not God goes to F tier.
Oh yeah, that's an F.
Yeah, I would
villain if
100%
there ever
agree with
was
that.
one, yeah.
Our first F tier.
Yeah, you won't get any argument from me on that.
Yeah.
Not even a
Man,
little.
this is hard to do. Okay. All right, so now we have, where is it? Bird of Prey 5.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war.
So there's a giant problem with this guy.
What's that?
Christopher Plummer is the GOAT.
Yeah.
He gets a bonus point for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He cannot go any lower than B. That's it. That is the
Yeah.
absolute floor.
If Christopher Plummer were not God, God would be in the B tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It would just be an instant increase.
Yeah. However, now this villain.
No, General Chang's a badass, dude.
Yeah, General
Like,
Chang is an absolute badass. He's got, as far as entertainment value, it's through the roof.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh,
Every time he's on screen in this movie, you're loving it.
yeah.
Can't appreciate Shakespeare until you've heard it in the original Klingon.
The threat level from this guy, he had a ship that could fire while cloaked. First time we ever saw anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Made him practically invincible until they figured out how to track it. Now, it did get
He's
taken
gotta have
down
a
by one
tailpipe.
photon torpedo, but at the same time, he almost, in a bird of frickin' prey, he almost took down 2 cutting-edge starships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And compellingness, man, he's one of the best villainous characters Trek has ever produced.
It sounds like we're all agreeing this is an S. Right?
This is an S tier.
Oh, he is an
Yeah.
S tier villain
Oh,
all
yeah.
the way
Yeah.
around. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking about a guy that wasn't just on the playing board or on the board as a guy running a bird of prey. He was a architect of a conspiracy
Yeah.
between
Take out his
two
own chancellor.
empires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no.
God, it's
Yeah.
such a good movie.
Yeah, I gotta go watch the crap out of that.
Sauron.
Okay, we're done now.
This is the guy that actually
Sauron.
managed to kill Captain Kirk.
F this guy.
Man,
I
not nearly as much as Christopher Plummer, but Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell. Look, as much as I hated his character, Malcolm McDowell gave it his all.
He was given a turd.
Yeah, he tried to polish that turd as best he could with his presence and his acting, but
Yeah.
What up, LD? Welcome to the party, pal. Links in the description. I feel like you owe me one. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
all right. So, I mean,
This one's hard for me because, like,
none of the he's not, but he doesn't have the best threat level or compellingness to his character. Entertainment value, Malcolm McDowell is very entertaining, but Sauron is not.
I think, unfortunately for the character,
I mean, I couldn't go higher than a B. I couldn't.
no.
And I'm leaning more towards like a C.
The problem
Me
with
too.
Soren is he wasn't so much a villain as he was.
He was a disgruntled father.
What was
Well,
it?
he
Time
was-
is the fire in which we burn. You know, they made Picard almost cry.
He was obsessed with getting back to the Nexus,
Right.
and that was about it. He wasn't
Right.
really.
He just didn't care about the consequences of his actions.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And good question, Aldi. Why didn't Soren just use the magical Q whistle like Kaiden does guard? So what are we thinking?
I'd be fine with C. 'cause,
C, yeah.
I mean,
thinking C.
I know the movie itself was a pretty rough movie to begin with, and
Yeah.
whatnot,
all right.
but at the same time, it was just.
There we go. All right. So our first C tier was Soren. Okay.
Yeah, you messed up the thing.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, I'm trying to scroll on the pictures and I accidentally scroll on
Yeah.
the main page. All right, so where is it? Do I have to reload another one?
Cinnabon, you're crazy. You just crazy.
Oh no, Sin loves the whale probe. That's his
Yeah,
homie.
Cinnabon is in love with the floating space turd. Yeah. It's not the whale probe; it's the floating space turd. All right. What the heck happened here? I
guess that means now we're at the Borg Queen, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking for it though, and I don't see her. Somehow she did not upload. Well, I know I have another version of her we can use and skip. Let's see. No, that's not it.
Ooh,
What, were you looking at the pictures?
no.
No, Thomas, look at the screen, man.
Thomas
see
is
the
being
screen one.
savage tonight.
What do
He says, Salty Traeger, maybe you should hire an S-level IT guy instead of an F-level.
Ooh, yeah, well, probably true.
That wasn't just shots fired. That was, we'll nuke them from orbit. It's the only
Yeah,
way to be
right.
sure.
Oh, come on. Ultimate user space trip. Why the heck? Okay. So, man, somehow the Borg Queen is missing.
Mistakes have been made.
Yeah, a mistake has been made. So we'll talk about her, but we don't have the picture.
What? Oh,
I apologize. Look, dude, I've been working on these pictures all day, okay? I'm not perfect.
look, we can pontificate while you make a thumbnail, or I'll send you one real quick. Good Lord.
I can't believe it.
Oh, you got to have the graphic, man. It's got to be on there, you know? It's like...
All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I swear I was making it while we were talking. And all right.
Indy says just to use a photo of the Spanish princess instead.
Oh.
Hello. All right, where is start?
You know, there's a really bad joke there, but I'm going to leave that alone, Aravic. I'm just going to.
What Arabic say?
She knew how hard you're going to be on her.
Oh. Well, I'll say. Well, you guys are supposed to be talking so that I can focus on this.
Well, yeah. So, Jason,
Yes.
the Borg Queen. So
Yeah.
we see her, and they kind of like retcon, and because she says she was there. Ouch! And they show like her overseeing Locutus and stuff. But this is the first time we see her, or even hear of the Borg having some kind of a queen.
Yeah. This whole thing,
It's a huge retcon.
which is
Yeah.
a major problem outside of the fact that, again, you've got a really powerful actress in this case. Alice Krieg absolutely hammers this character.
Mhm.
As far as I'm concerned, compellingness is extremely high.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, there's no misunderstanding who she is, what her intentions are. Like, you believe that Alice Krieg is the queen.
Oh yeah. And well, I mean, I don't know. I think her intentions toward Data are still a little
She
unclear.
has
I don't
sex
know.
with Data. She does.
Do they? Though? Do they? Do they?
That's
I mean,
the implication, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Beyond implication, dude. Because here's what I've studied it just because I've been watching a lot of Borg content.
Right,
And
right.
So she asked him about his functionality.
She gives him goosebumps. I know that. I mean,
No, but she asked him about his sexual functionality. He gives the same speech that he gave about Tasha Yar. She asks, how long has it been? He cites how long it's been since he screwed Tasha Yar. Then she goes, that's too long. They start making out.
oh, too long.
They cut away. And when they come back, Data is now wearing a different outfit and is on her side, so to speak. So
Yeah.
she
Damn,
banged,
he got up in the Borg Queen's guts. I never even realized that. I'm going to have to go back and watch
she
that.
absolutely banged Data.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. All right.
Is that the only skin she gave him?
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha. Oh.
Well, he had skin on his face, too, so.
All right, so let's go to man making me do this on the fly here.
So I feel like by like the time he gets it up, just go ahead and drop it into the
Wow,
S tier.
that's
There's a little...
That sounded dirtier than I meant it. My bad. Yeah. Oops.
all right. So now, okay, I got the picture made.
Uh-oh, what's this? Bondage Brittany. Haven't seen this fellow
yeah.
in a while.
It's been a
or
minute.
Human. Borg Queen made big plan to use Fleet Day Wi-Fi fleet, but Borg already are a Wi-Fi hive. Don't need Federation computers to do that.
Well, yeah, well, that's not the Queen iteration we're talking about.
Yeah, we're
here.
talking
Yeah.
about Alice Krieg's original
Yeah.
Borg queen.
Yeah.
Talk, yeah, first contact. We're going
Contact.
through the movies. Yeah, right
Yeah.
now.
All
These are
right,
movie
so
villains.
you ready?
See.
Data banging
Slime Lady.
Excellent.
All right,
Excellent.
so where are we gonna put her?
Oh, S, man. She's got to be S.
You asked here, really?
Yeah, she ticks all three boxes.
I'll
Like,
go as far as A tier.
Yeah, see, for me, I would only go as far as A tier as well. And the reason is...
okay, well, then I'm outvoted. A's fine, then. You know, A's fine.
Well, I just want to give you the reason, for at least for me, why I would only go A. She's the freaking Borg. And rather than, doing something intelligent like going to a large population area and immediately taking control of it with drones, she, tickles Bozeman, Montana with the wimpiest torpedoes
Yeah,
we've ever
photon
seen.
torpedoes that can destroy a bicycle. Literally, that's what
Yeah.
we see on screen.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
thumbnails
stop
off.
a launch."
Dude,
And
it's not off. What are you talking about?
the
It's too
bottom,
big.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Now it's too small.
No. No. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll get over it.
In this case, size matters, except we can't decide which one.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. You do your thing.
But yeah, just the execution of the character within the story is where the weakness comes.
Yeah.
And that's why, for me, I couldn't go S because...
Yeah.
I was just going by the rules you guys set forth. She
I
ticked
would-
all three
Oh, no,
boxes.
that's fine. But we have, we have to balance it
Remember,
out.
all
Like
three,
the final
all three
vote,
categories
yeah.
you have to be really strong on. For
Okay.
me, I think threat level I'm good with. Except, actually, threat level's lean because, like I said, her photon torpedoes can't destroy a bicycle.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. Her Borg sphere literally takes one volley of quantum torpedoes and it's obliterated.
Watch
Now-
your futures end. Come on.
Now that I could deal with just from the fact that Picard was shooting at the cube in a way that he was of the understanding.
No, but I'm talking about after the cube.
No. Hold on. I know this is headcanon territory, but it's not unreasonable. That damage to the cube before the cube went supernova was damaging the sphere. That what was keeping the cube in the fight was the fact that the sphere was still in it, and that the sphere was probably taxed beyond its capabilities.
Okay.
So I don't have any issue with
I can't
that.
really see the chat, so you got to tell me if there's anything good in the chat there.
Oh, bondage. Yeah, right here. She says, also didn't think of going back in time to caveman days and murder all the big alpha quadrant species. Trillions of minds combined. Couldn't think of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they really, this was, for me at least, the addition of the Queen destroyed the Borg.
Well,
Yeah.
I by chance watched a video today talking about, or no, it was last night, talking about what the original script treatment was supposed to be for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to go back to medieval times
Oh, wow.
and fight the Borg with like
Should-
swords and crap.
Shouldn't,
That would have been hilarious.
now that I think about it, shouldn't Borg Queen also be like Borg Queen / Borg? Aren't they like the same, though? Because I know you're...
That's the
aren't you gonna have-
problem is that
Yeah.
they tried to make it ambiguous, but especially by the time we get to Voyager, it's obvious that the Borg are just zombies and she's in charge.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
this is
she's
where-
petty and she's fallible. That's why I said she kind of ruins the Borg.
Yeah, that's why there's such an issue with that's why it's such a polarizing character. It was done well in the sense that the actress absolutely sold it. The general conditions were set up decently.
Right.
Even though the movie is actually objectively, provably not that good, most people, including myself, very much enjoy watching First Contact.
I love
Except
First
for Mike.
Contact.
No,
Yeah, Michael
First
hates
Contact
it.
is a great piece of entertainment. It's actually not very good as a Star Trek movie. However,
Yeah.
I do very much enjoy it.
I'm not saying First Contact was poorly made. But my problem with First Contact, it's kind of like my problem with Andor. It ruins the lore.
Yeah.
That's where I have a problem. All right, so let's move on, or we're going to talk all night about the Borg Queen.
Sure.
And we got a lot to cover here in an hour and a half. And we're not even through the movies yet. Extreme Makeover.
Rufio edition.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, man.
Awful.
This movie was...
It would have been a good two-parter episode, for the
it would
series.
have been an average two-part.
You know,
Yeah. Or that.
this movie would have been an okay two-part episode right up until the joystick came up in the middle of
Oh, God, yeah.
And that's when
Yeah.
this, and then we, and I know we're supposed to be rating the villain, but honestly,
He's a shit villain. Come on.
he's yeah. I have to bag on the movie for another reason, and that's the absolute trash that they got for special effects.
Oh yeah, it's funny because if
They couldn't get ILM, or they didn't
Right.
want to spend the money. One of the two, I forget what it is, and they hired this quote unquote up and coming group. It was horrible,
Yeah,
which
if you
then
look
made
at-
everything
yeah.
this guy was doing even worse.
if you look at the Enterprise from, because it's funny because the Enterprise E was introduced in First Contact, beautiful ship.
Yeah.
And then we see it again in this movie, and it looks like absolute crap. And if you look at the shots, you don't realize it watching this movie in isolation, but watch an effect shot from First Contact, and then immediately watch an effect shot from this movie, and you're like, holy crap, it looks like this movie was made at least 10 years before First Contact, because the visual effects are that much worse.
It's
Smooth as an android's
bad.
bottom, eh, Data?
It's
But where are we
bad
going
movie.
with these guys?
Oh yeah,
Oh, God.
yeah, he's definitely D. And depending on how crusty I feel by the end of it, we might even demote him.
I
I
mean,
would go to F tier, to be honest, but
I mean that's kind of where I'm leaning. He's not
I-
entertaining at all. He's
I would-
zero threat and not
Yeah.
compelling whatsoever. I mean,
No, I would honestly be totally willing to go F tier on
All
that.
right.
oh yeah, okay.
So he's at the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's
I
just
mean, you move these
painfully
guys down just a little.
he's painfully uninteresting.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I know the man was like big deal in Amadeus, but not so much in this movie.
Speaking of people that were a big deal elsewhere, Shinzon.
Poor guy.
The movie that killed the franchise for at least a decade. It was like,
Yeah.
Well, to say nothing of the fact the movie that gave poor what's his face an awful hard time afterwards.
Tom Hardy, yeah.
Tom Hardy felt really bad about this
Right.
character.
But it's funny because you know what? Tom Hardy became such a powerhouse now in Hollywood. And
Yeah, but you'll
I-
never see him at a Star Trek convention. I guarantee. I bet money on that.
I would love to see him at a Star Trek convention.
No, I would too, but he.
I don't think apologizing
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
but
I
I'd get
know.
an autograph from Venom, you know.
Be like, I'm sorry. Be like, are you British or Canadian?
Now, I will say this: Shinzon not as bad as God or the Extreme Makeover guys,
Right.
but pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say given his access to the
Is responsible for the
Aileron
death of Data,
technology,
though. You know.
his threat level was extremely high. So
Mhm.
I don't think he's D. Because I
C
think
tier?
I think he'd be C tier because his threat level was ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Because he did have a planet killing weapon on board.
The scimitar was, the problem with the scimitar is I think that doing the firewall cloak thing was overkill.
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean we can dissect the movie all
Yeah.
day long, but as far as the requirements for the character, he had a planet killer.
Yes.
So
He absolutely did.
yeah.
All right. So as a bonus to that movie, Not For Us Too.
Oh jeez.
Oh, God.
Dude
The
just needs
Viceroy.
to go
Now,
back.
This gets a
and-
bonus. He's Ron Perlman.
well,
But he also is like his only claim to fame is he mind rapes Troy for some reason.
I don't know. When I almost feel like you got to pair this guy with Shinzon in my mind. I don't know.
Put him
There's,
in-
yeah, I mean at best
You know.
he's only C. If you want to give him D, I wouldn't disagree.
yeah.
Because
You know.
I mean he's
Well, where are we going to go? We're going to go C or D. Where do
Well,
you
I mean,
think?
hell, he's more threatening than Shinzon. I mean,
well,
don't you think?
he's more. Frankly, actually, you know what's funny is he's actually more compelling. If we're gonna do this, I'd almost be willing to say, he gets the C, and
And
Shinzon,
gets
the
the
D.
D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shinzon down
Yeah.
and put his viceroy in his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've only ever seen. We talked about this before on streams. We've only ever seen the Remans in Enterprise.
Yeah, and they were only in the background.
Yeah.
And that was just because they used the Riemann face mask that they made for this movie.
Yeah.
which is too bad because the Remans could have been interesting if we developed them, but they did nothing with them.
Well, and that's why I'm willing to bump him above Shinzon, because I'm way more interested in the Remans
Yeah.
than I am in some clone of Captain Picard
Yeah.
that's gone off the reservation. So,
And yes, Stanley, he might be second in command, but he is more villainous. I mean, that's how it goes, you know.
sometimes, yeah.
That is absolutely true. And so now I know I made one for this guy, and now it's missing. Let me see if I need to reload it. But while I'm checking my files, we're talking about Nero.
Oh God.
Petulant teenage character thing with a mining ship.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I don't
Again,
know.
great actor.
I mean, that's a
Yeah,
stretch.
you know, it's funny. Star Trek has no shortage of great actors in crappy roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme with them. We get all the greatest actors, and it doesn't. And we don't pay any attention to the roles we're putting
I
these
mean,
poor people in.
I think you guys are giving this dude too much. What's the last thing you saw him in? I mean, I can't even
Nero?
tell you.
The actor.
Eric Bana. Yeah,
Eric
Bana.
Bana was in. Well,
He's been
he
doing
did
a
as
bunch
best as he could in the Hulk movie. He played the composite character Hoot in Black Hawk Down, which is he did a great
He was
job
great
in
in
that.
Black Hawk Down.
Oh man, now you're gonna make me have to go look. But
I mean,
And with the Hulk, you know, unfortunately, that was another one where he was handed a turd. He did the best he could with
Yeah.
that movie, but
no, Stan, he was in Hulk, not Incredible Hulk. That's a different movie.
yeah,
It's Hulk,
Incredible
just
Hulk was Edward Norton.
Yeah.
There have been 3 people to play the Hulk in not too distant in the last 20 years. Yeah,
he was one of the SEALs in Lone Survivor.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Eric Bana is a good actor.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make Nero a good character.
No.
No, I like.
Yeah. I don't think I'm not going to argue.
Ooh.
What?
Munich. Munchen.
Oh,
He played the lead character in the Munich Revenge by the Mossad.
And Andy, I kind of agree. I kind of like that. Oh, hi, Chris. I'm Nero. I did kind of like that moment because Nero is not a military guy.
Yeah,
He's
not
a-
Obsidian Order. He's
He's
not
a civilian that happens to have
Al-Shiar
tech
or Obsidian
that is,
Order.
yeah, he happens to have tech from 100 years in the future.
He's a spoiled little brat who got his daddy's gun and he wants to, shoot all the bullies.
Wow,
I don't
dude.
know. I don't know.
Everything he knows was destroyed.
And wait, but he can go back in time instead of like preventing the catastrophic thing.
Oh no, that was an
happens,
accident.
okay.
See, when
One
he
of the
popped
times
out,
he got sucked into a black hole.
he hid.
Okay,
He hid
yeah.
his ship. That's where you get that 25-year gap.
Yeah, sadly, and this is another problem with the movie. The movie suffers from bad editing because they cut out the part where he was taken prisoner by the Klingons. They stashed the ship, and then he escaped 20 years later in order to, catch Spock. Instead, we just wait. It's just like, okay, 20 years later, and he's sitting around. So what has he been doing for 20 years? In the movie, it just seems like he's been sitting on his butt for 20 years doing nothing.
Yeah, for all we could tell, he was waiting for Spock to show up. That's literally the only thing we know for sure.
But he was actually in a Klingon labor camp the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
I mean, deleted scenes are not canon, but
I know, but I mean, it would be a lot more compelling to see that in the movie. I don't know.
No,
why
I agree.
I don't know why they cut that out. It makes no sense. But let's talk about where are we going to rate him. I mean,
my vote's for C, but I'll defer to you guys.
he had good threat level because I mean, let's be real,
He destroys Vulcan, so.
that ship is pretty serious.
Yeah.
And he did everything he could with what he had, but the character was just badly written.
Yeah, it wasn't an interesting character. It was just an angry guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And while you could definitely understand his anger, the movie didn't develop him properly.
No.
And that's I think the big problem with Nero. All right, let's talk about not Khan.
Ah, Jesus. Do we have to?
This guy.
Making this dude Khan was so ridiculous.
I love Beneflact Cumberlatch. I really do.
I was gonna say someone's got to
Benedict-
make a stupid name for him. Really?
No, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to say his name correctly.
Yeah.
And by the way, he is in the last What If episode I watched, and I love hearing his
He's in. What's the last one you watched? Because I don't want to spoil anything. The Indian one that was like that one annoyed me because I had to actually pay attention because it's all subtitles.
Oh no, actually, there's one after the Indian one I think that we watched. That was
He makes a cameo appearance in 2 episodes. I didn't want to spoil anything.
right,
so,
right. But yeah, the one after the Indian one is the last one I watched.
Okay. Yeah.
When we start talking about that series, I'm going to have some things to say about the Indian.
Oh yeah.
That was. I think that Indian. Her name translates to Michael Burnham.
Oh, that's a Mary Sue character if I ever seen one. You'll see, Jason, when you watch it.
Have you seen it yet, Jason? Or you?
No, but I expect unfortunate amounts of disappointment.
You know, I understand what they're trying to do with her character, but oh man, she's just. You know, she just shows up and look, I can do everything better than everybody.
All right, let me reel this in. We're still in the movies here.
Sorry. Let's talk about Khan. You know, I'm just trying to avoid talking about this guy.
Alternate Khan.
What was his? What was the fake name they gave him to throw us all off?
John Harrison.
John Harrison. Yeah. Okay.
And it's like, it was so funny. It's the worst kept secret in Hollywood because everybody knew he was Khan. And the reason everybody knew he was Khan is because he was the third choice for, because the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was like that?
Benicio del Toro should have been Khan, in my opinion.
Cast.
Yeah,
Benicio del Toro was actually cast.
Yeah.
And then something happened to Benicio and he couldn't do it. And so then they cast, I can't remember who it was, but another Latin actor.
Oh, yeah. That's rough.
And that person couldn't do it either. And then they got smacked her bitch Cumberbatch. And
it makes no sense. He's supposed to be a Middle Eastern sheik or whatever it was. It's like, come on, man.
And so, he's supposed to be from northern India, technically.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Which, by the way, why didn't they just cast an Indian actor?
Right.
Instead of, if you're going to say, well, like classic Khan was played by a Latino actor, so let's get another Latino actor. How about, if you're
a Spaniard on top of it, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But this iteration of Khan is so breaking the canon because even though it's an alternate reality, it's supposed to be the same Khan because Khan was launched before the split in the timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is supposedly the same character as Ricardo Montalban.
This dude's whiter than me. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. The only way it would have made sense, and they should have done this, is if at the end of the movie we find out it wasn't Khan, he was pretending to be Khan, and Khan was still in one of the cryotubes. That would have made more sense than what they did here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because this Khan... I don't know. I'm debating between F and D. What do you guys think?
All right, let's entertainment value. None. I'd rather watch paint dry. Compellingness, like none.
But he had some threat level.
That's where I'm at.
He had access to stuff that was given to him.
Yeah.
He was no
He
threat.
was basically using advanced Starfleet tech.
Yeah, but he was nothing of what he had was from his wiles, his intelligence, his cunning.
And he's supposed to have a superior intellect, but
everything he had was Starfleet.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And
he's an F tier.
That's one thing that I didn't like is that. Okay, so the one thing that I thought was interesting is the first time we ever saw Spock cut loose in a fist fight. because Khan could take it. Usually Spock doesn't really do that.
Sure, but that doesn't make him a more better villain.
No, but I'm just saying, I
No.
thought that was interesting that Spock got to cut loose on this guy. That being said, we never got a fist fight between Khan and Kirk, really, except Kirk just punched him over and over, and he just stood there and took it like it was nothing, even though the classic Khan, you couldn't do that. If you punched him like that, he would eventually go down. He wasn't super freaking man.
Yeah.
He was much stronger than a normal human, but he wasn't bulletproof or anything. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking F tier.
Yes, that's yes. Okay, we actually all agree.
All right, so get that out of there. All right, and then the last movie, Kroll, also known as
F.
Captain Balthazar.
F.
I forgot who this guy was, so yeah, that's an F. Was he is that supposed to be Idris Elba?
Yeah, Idris Elba as a former Mako. Who's pissed off at Starfleet for not being the military.
You want to talk about great actors that Star Trek squanders? That's
There's one there, yeah.
That's one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Idris Elba, but Kroll was lame.
Yeah.
All right. So there we go. We've gone.
That thumbnail's way. His head is in the D tier, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He's having some D envy.
Yeah. Well,
There we go. All right.
All right. So there you go. So we have all the movies rated, and I think that this is fair. Let me look at this graph.
Yeah.
We have a few great movies and a bunch that are not so great. And unfortunately, when Star Trek does it wrong, it does it really wrong.
But look at that. So in your S through B, what do you notice there? The original series movies, best villains.
except for Alice,
except for Alice. Yeah.
because that was, regardless of the destruction of the Borg as a character themselves.
Yeah, Stan, that's another good point. You get a great looking, amazing actor and then just completely cover him in makeup.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I get it for the character, but yeah.
It made no sense. Like, so much of that movie, when you go back and look at it, made no sense.
I actually have, about to post him. I can drop it here first, guys. If you want to buy the trilogy of the new Trek on Blu-ray, the JJ Trek, I'm about to put those up for sale because they're covered in dust. I haven't even watched them. One of them, I think Beyond, I haven't even opened.
Basically, Danny's willing to send you his own crap.
He's like, I would just like to get this out of my house. Anyone willing to please help me do so?
All right, so yeah, I noticed S tier is only the original series. I think that's about to change.
Yeah,
we got some Locutus going on.
Oh, we're going TNG right now. Or
Well,
we're not.
It's not. It's going to jump around a little bit.
Okay,
but,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it is okay. I thought we were going. So
happens to be the
I
next
thought we were
one.
like maybe going to go in order like TOS. And then
No, it's just in the order that the file upload happens. So
okay.
I don't even know what the order is going to be.
Oh man.
I mean, Locutus. Look, let's be real. Entertainment value through the frickin' roof.
Yes.
It's Patrick Stewart doing his best.
Yes.
Threat level through the roof. They were completely unstoppable until they figured out how to hack them.
Yeah.
And compellingness, yeah, the whole time, like what was? You may be too young for this, you guys, but I remember that summer. That summer after.
Oh, I remember, dude. No, where we had to wait. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Everybody was talking about, is Patrick Stewart coming back? Everybody wanted to know.
Oh, it was one of the. I mean, there's a reason why Best of Both Worlds is considered one of the best 2-part episodes of anything ever.
Right.
And that's because within the bounds.
Even though the second half was not as good as the first.
No, but it's because it was within the bounds of how TV was run and consumed. They knocked it out of the park on suspense.
So a few years ago, Fathom Events, it was, I can't remember which anniversary of the episodes it was, but Fathom Events, put them together as like one movie.
Yeah,
And they had like special features like before and after and stuff like that on the big screen. And I went with a group of friends, and man, that was awesome. Just watching it on the big screen.
They actually did a Blu-ray remaster of the two-parter.
No, I've got the whole series on Blu-ray.
No, but I mean specifically, like there was like
completely
an extra special on top of the
Oh,
Blu-rays.
yeah.
It came out just a few years ago or something like that.
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
All right, so now moving to something completely.
I like how he didn't even ask us. He just assumed we all agreed he was in the
Oh, yeah.
But no, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
There are some that there's no question.
Yeah.
And if you said anything other than S tier, I was going to say no. F you. This is
Don't wait for the translation. Just score the damn character.
This is one boy. I don't even know. I don't know where I'm going to go with this one.
Who is it?
Essentia, the diviner's
the clone
successor.
daughter.
Yeah, this is the one
progeny. This is the progeny.
Progeny.
She's not the progeny. She's the one that kills the diviner and tries to complete his mission. In the last episode.
Oh, the other one. Yeah, she's not the actual clone daughter.
His daughter.
Yeah.
She's the one that's actually pure evil. And she kind of pops in out of nowhere, and let's be real, she almost takes out Starfleet.
Threat level high, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean,
entertainment value though, not so much.
Completely forgettable. Like I don't even remember.
Yeah,
this,
I totally got her
most people,
confused.
because they remember the diviner from that show, but John Noble was the voice of the diviner. But they don't remember her, so I think that entertainment value is pretty low, and compellingness is pretty low.
I'd say probably like a D. I don't know. Is that too harsh?
I'm thinking C, but I don't know. Well, what do you think, Jason?
What do you think, Jason?
I forgot her. She's a D.
Yeah.
So, Jason, it's the deciding vote on that one.
I mean, he agreed with me, so I'm cool with that.
All right, here's one that a lot of people will love. We'll see what the reaction is.
Ardra,
also known as Feklar, also known as the Devil. But
entertainment value reasonable for a episodic villain.
Yeah, the villain of the week.
Yeah, because she's a throwaway villain of the week. She was pretty good. Threat level. No, you find out she's a charlatan.
Well, yeah, going with full knowledge, yeah, she's not much of a threat. Like, she's just not, obviously.
She's just good at appearing to be threatening.
Yeah.
And compellingness, I honestly forgot about her until I was going through the episodes looking for villains for this show.
Oh, I never forget about her.
But I'm glad you used this picture of her, not the gross picture of her, from later in the episode.
Oh, the Feklar one, yeah.
I actually considered putting her up as Feklar, but I figured you would like to. Trust me, there's one, Danny, just for you in here. You're going to love it.
See, I remember her just as much as I remember Okana.
Okana.
The swashbuckling guy from, was it season 2? With the kid with the gloves who wouldn't take his gloves off to shake people's hands.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I always think, like, she's always banging around in my head when I think about, mid-series episodes. Right. I'd say she's like a C, maybe. I mean, she is only... I'm
okay with C.
She's only like a villain of the week, so you can't get too hard.
Okay, all right. I was going to say D, but I'll go with it since you both say C.
Yeah, I bet you were going to say D.
I'd give her the D, but...
She is a foxy lady.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Danny's going to be loving all the women on this list. But...
The devil does wear Prada, right?
Yeah. All right, here's another one that... Okay, this is going to be a higher tier one, but I'm wondering how high you guys want to go with it.
Okay.
8472.
Ooh.
Species 8472.
Entertainment. See, the funny thing is I don't give it as many entertainment value points, but
But
threat
in the
level
threat
huge,
level,
and
what they did to the Borg.
I'm very, very interested. Oh, it's beyond the Borg. I would even suggest they are probably even beyond the Dominion.
Right.
And
Yeah, they could have if Voyager had not stopped them in their tracks, they would have wiped out the galaxy.
yeah,
Well, I mean, even the Borg were scared of these guys.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, these got. I mean, at least a B in my opinion.
A tier.
Okay. I mean, like I said at least a B. So yeah.
I could live with A. I lean
okay.
slightly towards B only because, and only slightly because they just never got enough time being fleshed out. Like the whole him pretending to be Boothby and all that stuff that went on.
Yeah.
That was great, but unfortunately we never really got that extra.
Okay, it's got to be A because you got to put it next to the Borg Queen because it's just too funny.
All right. Oh,
yeah.
That's for Danny.
Yeah, scares the Queen.
Yeah, right.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I threw up a little in my mouth just looking at this one. The Zot Vash.
F tier.
Oh my God. Seriously. Why
F.
is this? Yeah, F. Why is this even on the list?
Yeah.
A group of super secret high-end Romulan spies that most of them die when they learn the secret of their mission.
And they all hate technology.
Yeah. Was that Picard season 2, I think? Or
Season 1.
Season 1? Yeah. It's just terrible.
So, yeah. All right. Here's, and because you demanded it, Danny, the Xindi.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, the Xindi were some bad MFers if you're an Enterprise fan. I mean, I
loved the Xindi story arc, even though I am very much against timey-wimey. They did an awesome job with that with the 5 species of Xindi.
Yeah.
And no, and they were an absolute threat because they were like it was like they
destroyed like a huge part of Florida. It helped give.
Well, they had help with that, but even beyond that,
do we really care about Florida?
Well, no, but we care about what it did to Trip and his character. It added to his character arc.
It did become a major thing for Trip because his sister died and all that.
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that the Xindi culture had these different species that were truly different species, unlike in most, because the funny thing is that 99% of Star Trek species are actually races because they can all
from a much more practical perspective. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen Klingons and Romulans can have kids, humans and Romulans can have kids, humans and Klingons can have kids, Vulcans and humans can have kids. They're the same species. They're just different races.
Yeah, but man, you got the aquatics, you got the what do you call them?
The insectoids, the reptilians, and then the flying ones. That were dead.
The avians.
The avians that were all dead supposedly. They were all dead, right?
Yeah, we never saw an avian.
Yeah.
And so, so the Xindi were truly different species trying to get along. They basically were trying to be like the Federation, except that as a group, they were somewhat xenophobic because they believed that the Federation was going to come after them.
Yeah. I know my vote's A. Like for me, but I'm a big Enterprise guy.
A tier is appropriate for them. I don't think they're quite at the level of the S tier, but I think they're pretty darn good.
Yeah,
they're probably the best villain set that Enterprise came up with.
Yeah,
they're one of the best.
Oh, they're better than the Sulban, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, and
Super Chat.
Xindi Council, thank you so much. So we targeted Florida to save the universe from Project Prometheus. You're welcome.
Oh, man.
Well, there you go. That explains it all. And yes, Lancer, the episode you're thinking of is called The Chase, where we find out that all the humanoid species are actually have a common ancestor.
Yeah.
And so that, which is actually, that does explain a lot of why there's so many humanoid species.
Well, they also in Deep Space Nine, the Changeling talks about because basically they don't you remember that they basically, oh gosh,
well,
there was that episode where she explains that
engineered.
like they basically put out like the same, like, I don't know if DNA is the right word. Oh God, man, I need to like. Don't you remember the episode I'm talking about?
The changelings just sent out baby changelings.
No, there was a, because I remember there was a.
No, they
damn it.
talked. Well, the
There was an
Wei
episode
Yun.
where
Yes,
they.
the actress that plays the ancient alien is the same actress that plays the female changeling.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny.
But it's not the same character.
No. Wei Yun, that whatever that species is, those are straight up designed by the founders, and they clone them, as we know, as they talk about in the show. But they're a straight up construct, like they're not natural.
There was an episode, or go ahead, sorry. Yeah.
Let me answer what Renegade saying, because you're right that having a common ancestor, we have common ancestors with chimps and stuff like that. We don't interbreed, but we do know that in Star Trek, almost all the humanoid species can interbreed.
Yeah.
That means by definition they are the same species. And because if you look at what a species is, any group of genetic beings that can reproduce and create fertile children.
Yeah.
That's, so, a horse and a donkey can be considered different species because a mule is by definition sterile.
Well, yeah, completely sterile. Yeah.
But if you have two different, a human and a Klingon, they can have kids who can in turn have kids who can in turn have kids. And we've seen that. Taurus is an example, right? So she's not first generation hybrid. I think she's second generation hybrid, if I remember correctly. And Taurus and Paris have a kid.
Yeah.
So Taurus is obviously fertile. So it's
to say nothing of Alexander is the
Alexander's a product of a half Klingon, half human.
Yeah.
And Worf,
Yeah.
So obviously in the world of Trek, these are definitionally the same species.
Oh wow! Speaking of Worf, I was watching the Santa Claus of season 2. Michael Dorn is the Sandman in that. It was hilarious. It was an unexpected surprise. I was like, oh wow.
All right, so here we go. The villain you love to hate.
Oh no.
Kai Wynn.
Oh, I hate this bitch.
Everybody hates her. If you don't hate her, there's something wrong with you.
She's one of the most hateable characters, but
I love to hate her. That's the thing.
was gonna say.
She's definitely. If this were wrestling,
I have to
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
That was heavily by design on the part of the writers.
Oh yeah. She's meant to be insufferable. And that's fun. Like, that's the thing. Like, Michael Burnham is annoying because you're supposed to like her, but Kai Wynn is not annoying because you're supposed to hate her.
Yeah,
I
would vote.
Yes, exactly. Nurse Ratched. You are 100% right.
Yeah,
I believe, isn't that the same actress, or is it?
No.
Okay,
No.
she sure looks like it. And
maybe.
Oh,
Lore did a tribute video to her.
I thought she was the same actress that was Nurse Ratched.
Oh, it is. No, you're right. It is the same actress.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Yep.
And Nurse Ratched is another one. I mean, this is Space Ratched.
Yeah.
And so I can't go. Yeah. There's no way I could go below B.
No, that's what I was actually going to say. B. Like my vote's B.
Right. I mean, she doesn't have much of a threat level, but man, entertainment is out there. So
and compelling. Like you love to hate her.
Right.
Just.
All right. Now here's one you love to hate, to love to hate.
What are you going to pull out of your hat?
Oh god.
Wei Yun.
He's
yeah.
See, this is Dirty Pool.
He's such a delicious bad guy. What are you
Oh
talking about?
man, he gets floored out at A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
the only reason I wouldn't go S is because he's not really a villain.
But he's also not a threat specifically.
Right. Only when he's ordered to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
like how many iterate like we get at least
like
two.
Wei Yun 5, 6, and 7 are at a minimum we encounter in the show.
So I think there's 3 of them specifically that are in the show.
Yeah.
And boy, he is just so fun.
Oh, buddy, come on. It's freaking what's his face? Like that guy.
Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, he's like
legend.
Yeah.
We could do an entire show just rating Jeffrey Combs characters.
Right, yeah.
There are movies that are blasé that I love just simply because he brings so much to the movie.
Dude, you ever see The Reanimator with him? That one is like...
Oh, yeah. No, he hasn't seen The Reanimator.
I haven't.
I was talking about we should do a Reanimator watch one of these times. It's an H.P. Lovecraft novel turned movie, but imagine if you had a true adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft made by Roger Corman. that's kind of what.
All I got is I watched that movie with my mother way too young. Yeah, he's the main character. He's the main, I guess, villain. He's the mad.
And he is Wei Yun. He's so slimy in it. It's just like, it's so funny because you're supposed to be surprised that he's the bad guy, but come on. You see him and you're like, oh, he's bad.
It's like Tony Todd shows up. It's like 99% of the time he's probably
F. Murray Abraham. You know, like you see him, you know he's the bad guy. You know,
exactly.
Speaking of someone who has to be a bad guy, Commander Valdor.
Oh, this guy.
Oh God.
Also known as the guy who ruined the Mortal Kombat franchise.
Yeah.
I'm just
pretty
gonna
much.
go my vote's F. I don't even want to waste time on this guy.
He's not compelling. He was never really that big of a threat. He was operating way outside.
He's doing everything by remote control.
Yeah.
You know, he would never. And I understand for canonical reasons they had to make sure that nobody saw him. But dang, he is like the most cowardly villain of them all.
Oh,
hey, he was just a drone enthusiast, basically.
Right. So. All right. So. Next up, this is one that I think Danny and I are going to strongly disagree on. But I picked the most appropriate picture.
I don't know. I can't wait.
Actually, you know what's crazy? She gets mad compelling score from me, and we're never going to know.
Right. That's why there's so many questions about her we don't have answered. And what really made me mad is not even her. It's the fact that we spent 8 episodes on her and she wasn't even the main villain.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. You know,
I mean, they bring the daughter of Star Trek royalty into this series.
Yeah.
And this is how they kill her off.
Yeah, they throw. And by the way, we already know that changelings can survive the vacuum of space.
Yeah, and even if she's a magic hybrid, there's just no.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's going to surprise you. I think you and I are probably going to agree a lot more than you think. Because at first, I really did like this character, but then the reveal toward the end, I'm just like, what a waste. You know, like could have been.
Because I know I'm biased, so I'm gonna let you guys speak. What do you think, Danny?
I mean, I hate to say it, man. I can't go higher than a C, maybe a D, but like C tops for me.
C is like the very, very, very top.
I would lean towards D, but D. What do you think, Jay?
I'm fine with D because honestly, I mean, she was in no way a threat.
Yeah.
All of her power, as we learned by the end of it, was driven entirely by the Borg.
And can somebody explain to me why she had to cut off her hand to talk to the Borg?
I know, right? We never
never got it. Just like we never got an answer to the shotgun We never got an answer to the hand cutting garbage.
All right, so
Well, hey,
now-
if I ever see Gates McFadden, I'll tell her she can pump my rifle anytime, but that's fine.
wow, okay.
I had to go there, man. You know, I just wouldn't be me.
But will you scream to the enemy that you're out of ammunition?
Yeah.
I mean, if
Hey guys, wait a minute while I reload.
hey man, if she, you know, if she empties my chamber, then yeah, I will. But you know,
All right. Speaking of empty chambers, Harcourt Fenton Mudd,
Villain?
the most reoccurring villain in TOS.
But
he's
but is he a
well,
villain?
do we count him?
Yeah,
this
he
is his,
appeared in the animated series.
and the animated series. Yeah, okay, you knew where I was going with that.
So he has appeared more than any other single villain in TOS.
But is he
Yeah.
a villain?
He's an antagonist.
He's a scumbag.
All right.
I mean, so I don't know.
We're talking about antagonist.
All right.
All right. And keep in mind, he tries to take, he basically holds the Enterprise hostage when we first meet him. The second time, he literally takes over the ship with androids, thinking that the androids were subservient to him. He made a mistake. You know, the third time, they were just sent out to arrest him because he was doing fraud. So he's not a good guy.
I don't dislike the Mudd character.
He's a
but
criminal more than a villain.
Middling at best for me.
Yeah.
So right across the board, he's like a C. If he showed up, if he never showed up in the Android episode of the original series, for me,
He's a
he'd be just
okay.
You
Well,
think he's a B.
I think he's a D. I think he's a buffoon.
I would
You know.
go B. I would go
Did
B.
you say?
Danny,
Oh well, then
C.
it's got to be C then, because if I say D, you say B. You know, the
Yeah, so
middle ground
C.
C. Yeah.
And because he is thoroughly enjoyable. I mean, when he's
Because
on,
of how damn stupid he is, but you know.
Fine. I don't know that I would call him thoroughly enjoyable.
I think he is. I think.
he's fine.
All right. Now here's one threatening, probably one of the most threatening villains in TOS. But you wouldn't think so. Nomad.
Ooh.
Nomad can single-handedly has wiped out multiple solar systems.
Well, he bloody tanked photon torpedoes.
He takes 12 photon torpedoes and has his own torpedoes that are 90 times more powerful, according to Spock's scans.
Yeah.
He is capable of interplanetary travel on his own. His power level is insane. You know?
Yeah, frankly, he's more of a threat than almost V'ger.
Yeah, because he was literally going to go to Earth and wipe out. Basically, much like V'ger, he's going to go to Earth and wipe out the imperfect carbon units.
Yeah.
You're so sexist. How do you know this Nomad is male? Or
I'm just
identifies
basing
as
it on his
male?
voice.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
How dare you assume his gender?
So, you know, what would be really interesting would be if Nomad were still around to see what kind of havoc he could wreak against the Borg or something.
Oh man, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, someone will have to try to do a very careful modeling of that.
yeah, I would love to see that. So yeah, Nomad is something else, and also Nomad has impenetrable force fields, as far as we know.
Yeah.
You know, so and Martin, as far as why can the Enterprise take multiple 90-time photon torpedo hits, that I think is bad writing. To be honest, Nomad's bolts should not have been that powerful. You know, if Spock had said 10 times, okay, but 90 times and they tanked it 3 times, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I unfortunately will give that to the original series writers who were just trying to scare the crap out of their audience.
I will say this, even though it's not canonical, if you look at some of the non-canonical information on how photon torpedoes versus phasers and shields and stuff work, there it can make some sense, because the idea is that you use energy weapons like phasers to drain the shields because photon torpedoes are simple explosives, and so that can't get through the shields at all. But phasers, being the nadion particles, can drain the shields, and so eventually, and notice we've seen this a couple of times. They just don't outright say it. An unshielded ship getting hit by photon torpedoes, bam, they're gone.
Yeah.
So, because the explosive force of a photon torpedo, unless, of course, it's a Borg torpedo that can't destroy a bicycle. And hey, Laura, good to see you.
I can't go higher than B, in my opinion.
I was leaning towards A, but so we'll let Jason be the deciding vote here.
I don't see the Nomad as being that compelling.
Right.
So I could only go with a B at the most.
All right. I'm okay with that. I mean,
by these rules,
Yeah. That's why. Well, that's why there's three of us, so ties and stuff can be.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, and Indy with a $5
super chat.
And Andy says Nomad is S tier, V'ger is F tier. I tend to agree with you, Indy.
Well, Nomad is S tier.
I was thinking A and
danger.
B. I was one off from each.
Yeah. Remember, Indy, though, we're doing this across 3 categories of
criteria here.
Not just.
Yeah, if it's just raw power, Nomad would be way through the roof on
walking home with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far out of everybody we've talked about, Nomad is probably the single most powerful villain. Especially considering it's all packed into a 1 meter cylindrical object.
Yeah.
That, as far as we know, is indestructible. And the only reason that we beat it is because Kirk knows how to outthink computers.
So, I got a question, and
Yes.
I don't know why I'm just now thinking of this. Star Trek V, we only went over God. Did we not? So Cybok's not even making the cut?
No,
We didn't consider him a villain? Okay.
I'm just, with the movies, I did the primary, what was,
Yeah.
and I figured God was the real villain of that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
God was the enemy.
The not God.
And Ariel says, excuse you, the whale probe. I think Nomad's more powerful than the whale probe. Especially if you consider the size. Now, one question would be, does the whale probe's power dampening field would it affect Nomad?
Look at Vader.
Gowron.
I have spoken.
Well, Gowron's not really a villain. I didn't put Gowron on the list because Gowron is an ally of the Federation most of the time. He's just kind of...
Hey, Ariel.
Gowron's a dick, but he's not really a villain. All right, next up is the Greek god Apollo. Yes, Captain Kirk beats actual gods. Suck on that, Picard fans. So this is the actual Greek god Apollo, who that, as far as we know, and we find out in this episode, Who Mourns for Amadeus, that the Greek gods were real beings. They were just very powerful aliens, and so. And yeah, Andy, I want to see what Tanru looked like as well. That's the probe that Nomad merged with. But we have no idea what Tanru looked like. And Claw, the Klingon from Star Trek V.
Super chat.
So you have the Viceroy, but not me. Yeah, I didn't quite have room for a heavy metal band leader. And sorry, Eric, look, I spent the entire day putting these together. I didn't have time to do everybody. Believe me, we could do 100 shows if we wanted to rate every single villain in Trek.
Well, we only got about 30 minutes, so if we do a part 2, I guess we can always tack more on.
Oh, sure, we'll just tack more on. Thanks.
I said we could. I didn't say you had to.
I don't know if this website will save all this. That's the problem. I genuinely don't know. I'll try.
You might have to snapshot it.
Super chat.
And $5 from Captain Fandom Nerd. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Captain Fandom Nerd. And Happy New Year right back to you, buddy. Yes, New Year's. And we haven't talked about, are we going to do a New Year's Eve show?
I did a little. We can. I did a poll on my YouTube channel as to whether or not I should do a live stream because I'm not doing anything for New Year's.
I usually do. I've done a New Year's Eve show every year, but I didn't know if you guys wanted to join me.
Out of like 8 votes, I got 100%. I mean, I'll join you if you don't get mad at me for trying to like solicit funds during the show. But if you're gonna get mad, I'll try my own stream and we'll just go head to head.
The fundraiser New Year's Eve.
Extravaganza. No, but I'm down.
I was going to just do the Trek Yard Soaps, but then I figured, you know what, screw that. I'm just going to grab villains.
Do our own. We don't need to. They inspired us. We're not trying to like copy them or whatever.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say, and by the way, while I disagree with a lot of Trek Yard's ratings, I'm not saying they're bad guys, just that I disagree with a lot of their ratings, and that's why we're doing this. All right, so anyway, Apollo. Quite powerful considering he was doing it all himself. These were innate. He channeled energy that was seemed to be native to this planet, and they used the temple that he's sitting in to harness the energy, but it was still coming through his body, which was very interesting. And they compared him to like an electric eel kind of thing. And entertainment value, I think he did a good. I think he sold it. He looks like he could be Apollo. Compellingness, not so much. But what do you guys think?
I've only ever seen this episode a couple of times.
This is Who Mourns for Adonis, I think.
Who Mourns for Ananias is how it's actually
Ananias.
said.
Sorry, Who Mourns for Ananias.
It's
always
kind
said
of
it
rough
wrong.
for me to
That's all I
put much
learned. I
of a
was being
rating
stupid.
on it because I haven't seen it enough times to really absorb it.
Oh, but what does your gut tell you?
Well, I'd say he's a C. He's kind of like a middle of the road
I'd
kind of.
say C. Like he's not to be trifled
I'm okay
with,
with that.
but he's not anything,
Right.
world ending.
Now, Ariel agrees with us. Look at that. She chimed in with a C as well. So there you go.
All right. So now, if you go with a C with this guy, I will punch you both in the face. Because we're talking about the Dahar Master Core, son of Raynar. This is the first Klingon that we've ever seen.
But he's not a villain, and he's barely an antagonist.
He's absolutely he shows up and he immediately says that he's taking over. There's gonna be a lot of rules and you're not gonna like him.
Well, I suppose I don't know. I just see him as,
see, the thing is, you don't think of him as a villain because you love him so much.
that's probably why, right there.
He is a villain. Think about what he does in the episode, and Kirk and Spock have to do everything they can to try to stop this guy. But then the Organians basically stop the fight midway. So
I don't know, man. I guess I have a punchable face. This goof doesn't get a higher than a C for me. So that's
really?
Yeah.
I like
Dude's a
Core,
goof.
but
I could say B, but not C.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, whatever. Like, I put my vote in. I'm 1 of 3. So you know what I mean?
You're the deciding vote here.
So you're saying B and Danny's saying C.
Yeah.
The pressure.
I'm gonna
right?
go with C because in his older age, he was.
He's
No,
a
no.
goof.
You're letting the nostalgia bug get you too much.
Yeah.
Because even though he pulled off some stunts, he was never really that big a threat in the end because he was always able to be negotiated with.
Yeah. And by the way, I promise you, I'm not trying to do TOS all. It's just the way that these.
You accidentally scrolled up the thing again. We can't see the S there.
It's the way that this thing sorted the pictures. So I'm just going through them in order.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And so it's another TOS. We got a couple more TOS ones before we get out of TOS here. The Space Amoeba.
Oh, man.
What?
I am sorry to whatever writer wrote this show, but this is an F for me.
Wow. F tier. I can't quite go to F because it is very powerful. Remember, it wipes out a couple of solar systems before the Enterprise, and the USS Intrepid is taken down by it.
My problem was the first time I saw this episode, the first time I ever saw any of these of the original series episodes, it was all out of order because I was usually watching it syndicated at like 5 o'clock at supper time.
Right.
And
I'll
and the first time I saw this episode, it was just like, it was honestly the moment where it's like, man, old Trek is terrible.
I can't go above a D.
No.
I mean, I'm kind of leaning toward F.
D, Jason, because I can't. Like I said, it's very powerful. I can understand you didn't think it was entertaining or compelling, but you can't argue that it's not.
No, that's fine. I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
All
All right.
So we got slide it into the D there.
All right. Whoa, dude, that came out wrong.
That sounded way dirtier than I meant it. Sorry.
All right. But if you give this one a D, I will punch you in the face. All right. Actually, he'll punch you in the face and he'll enjoy it, especially if you're a woman, because it's Khan Noonien Singh, the worst abuser of women in television history.
Now, the thing that confuses me is why we're separating them. I know we barely got to talk about
character
this,
than Khan was in Star Trek 2.
but it's the same guy.
It's the same guy.
I know, but I you know what? I saw the two and I was like, you know what? They're so radically different that I would rate them a little differently. They're both, I mean, like this guy has got entertainment. I mean, he's oozing with his fine Latino.
His machismo is all over the place.
Yes. Threat level is pretty good. Compellingness is pretty good. But would I rate him at the same way as I would rate Old Khan? I would put Khan Noonien Singh more at the A tier level.
I was going to say B, but I'll go with A. You know,
because I'll tell you why is that, and maybe I might even go as far as B with you, Danny. I like the episode Space Seed a lot, but when he abuses MacGyvers, that's hard to watch.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he really abuses her into submission, and I found that a little distasteful.
Now, here's a question for you, though: is when was the first time you watched that episode?
Oh, when I was a little kid.
See, I never saw.
I've seen these episodes hundreds of times.
No, I know, but the first one sticks with you in ways that,
right?
You know, and the reason why I bring this up, though,
the way he forces her into submission, and that scene where she comes to him and he, throws her down. She's on her knees. He makes her beg to stay. He is just absolutely horrifically.
Oh, he's a straight up villain. Like he's a monster.
Yeah, he's much more villainous, I think, as a young man. As a mature adult, he's just seeking a revenge against Kirk.
Yeah, but to finish my thought,
I'm not going to say that out loud,
Martin. That's horrible. That is so racist. It's not. Anyway,
I saw this episode after I saw Khan at the theater, and by a number
that's
of
very
years.
Different. Then.
So that's the thing for me, and because it wasn't when I was a kid, like I didn't see this episode until I was probably.
And yes, I wasn't going to call him out, but
actually.
Since Michael's calling you out on it, I'll just throw that there.
What, did I misspell Khan?
Yes, you did.
Khank. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. That's my dyslexia.
It is a different Khan.
I apologize, Guy. That's my dyslexia kicked in when I was making this one.
So for me, I see it.
Even now, I looked at it and it looked right, and so I had to sit there and look at it letter by letter.
I see Movie Con as functionally a further evolution of the Con he always was.
Right.
Vengeful,
that's why. So
intelligent. So for me, I can't separate.
This Con is more arrogant than.
Yes, yeah, he's arrogant because he's first out of the freezer, and he's running around thinking he's all that in a can of beans.
Right.
See, by default, he can't be on the same level because he didn't. He's not at his final form yet. which is like
So
You see,
yeah,
what do you think though? A tier then?
I would say A, and he evolved into his final form.
Yeah.
To use a Pokemon term.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or Dragon Ball Z is what I was
All
going
right,
for.
here's one. People have requested this in the chat earlier in this very stream.
Oh God, no! Is
Really?
it Janeway?
Uh-oh, what
It's
are we
going to
gonna
be
get?
Janeway. Oh, it's
No,
not Janeway. Okay,
Not Janeway.
okay.
The Gorn Captain, Fred Flintstone, wearing his Fred Flintstone Yabba Dabba Doo outfit.
Yabba dabba doo.
Well, actually, assuming I think it's a female, actually, but that's just mine because it looks like
Yabba
it's a
dabba dip
dress.
shit.
Yeah, does that look like he's wearing a dress?
Kinda.
Yeah, I think that's a female Gorn.
Tunic, something.
If
Kurt
I
punched a lady.
slap a
That
if I
was
slap,
like-
Is Moopsy going to be on this list? That's hilarious.
if I throw a pile of headcanon at this and a pile of allowance for when this was made,
Mhm.
reasonable threat, somewhat interesting, entertainment value. Oh man, that is so hard to get. Like
I enjoyed this
camp
episode.
It's a
But-
good episode, like because I mean, there's so many fun memes like
Mhm.
that have gone and generated funny comments like what we get in Galaxy Quest with. Can you construct a rudimentary lane?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I can't go higher than a B, but I refuse to go
Yeah.
lower than a D. I mean,
I think B is appropriate.
B is
for him.
fine
yeah.
because I mean,
He's good. Yeah, he's good. He's good in everything. He's not great at everything.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're finally getting out of TOS for a little bit.
okay.
All right, so this one we got a whole race here for you to think about. The TNG era Romulans. And the reason I did this is because, yes, there's a few specific character Romulans, but we don't really develop them.
Well, what
And-
about Troy's sister? What's that bitch's name?
Troy's sister?
Troy, of his sister's Romulan.
Why not? Is it not her sister? No. Troy's daughter. Troy's daughter.
You're telling me Yar's daughter.
Oh, damn it, Yar. Yeah, I meant
I was
Yar.
gonna say,
yeah, not Troy. Yar.
You're talking
Tasha's.
about Sela.
Yeah, Sela.
Sela.
Spoiler alert, I did make one specifically for Sela.
Okay.
But this is just the TNG Romulans in general.
Okay.
For me, they're a minimum of an A. Like as
Really?
a bringing them in.
See, I hated them.
I thought that the Romulans in the original series were boring.
Oh, I hate you.
I thought the Romulans in TNG were like really underdeveloped, underutilized.
Yeah,
like they focused way more on the Klingons.
And
you
for
know.
me, the TNG era Romulans became some of them way more fascinating than
I
almost even the
can't
Cardassians.
agree with you on the A, brother. I'll go B. B's the highest I'll go.
Now, okay. Question.
Yes.
Specifically TNG Romulans only, or
Yes.
TNG?
Yes, that's what
era?
it says. It says right there.
Yeah,
TNG.
TNG Romulans.
Okay, then only a B at the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're gonna stretch out and encompass
not
DS9,
DS9, they were a little bit better.
I have to go to the A with the
But
if you're gonna bring in
TNG,
DS9.
I think they were lame. All right, so now here's one that I know you guys are going to put in S tier.
Cotton swabs in my mouth.
F tier?
Takuma.
Is there an F-1?
Right.
So,
Damn, dog. Seriously?
it's a Takuma. So here we go. How's
You
that?
got the air biscuits going on over there.
Fucking dog, man. Jesus.
How's
Oh,
that?
man.
Yeah, we got Takuma.
Jeez.
Yeah, so Takuma is an insult to Trek.
Yeah.
And I mean, he doesn't feel very threatening. He kind of feels like an idiot. He's definitely not entertaining to watch. And when he dies, it's like, we don't care.
Nope.
Yeah.
Actually, we do care. It's the best part of the whole
Yeah.
Right.
All
honestly.
right. So back to Enterprise we go for this one.
Enterprise.
Oh, Silic.
Silic.
Silik's an interesting
Yeah.
character.
I think that Silik suffered from the whole temporal Cold War thing getting dropped
Yeah.
because I thought what they were doing, he was the most interesting thing about the first 2 seasons of Enterprise. And then they kind of let it go, and they didn't really pick it back up.
Yeah.
I wanted more of Silik, and that
I
adds to his compellingness.
I
Well,
did too,
what-
but a lot of that got dropped because when with 9/11, the Zindi story arc was a direct response to 9/11.
But you see, the thing is that the Zindi story arc doesn't mean that Silik just disappears.
No,
You
he
could
just
have
got-
It shouldn't have. No, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
But like I think that in season 4 we should have revisited it.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. My vote is a B, but he could have been an A. You know what I mean?
think, unfortunately, he's underdeveloped, but he's interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think?
But I understand if you guys want to.
No, I'm with you on B, but I want to.
Yeah, I'm fine with a B.
Okay.
Because I wanted to know more about. The funny thing is as much as the Suliban frustrated me at first at the start of the whole series,
Yeah.
in the end, I wanted an answer. So obviously,
Yeah.
they, you know,
Right. All right. Are you ready for this, Danny? This is the one for you. The Sex Planet God.
Dude, is that some side boobage? Is that some side cleavage, or is that just a shadow? I can't tell.
hey man, I'm telling you, got to go watch that PG-13 thing I sent you.
That's for you. To make it look as good as I could for you, buddy.
Oh
Do
my
you,
god.
do you remember that episode, Danny?
Yeah, this is. Is this the one
Everybody-
where they're going to kill? Well, no. Is this the one where
Yeah, they were
Wesley?
gonna kill Wesley
They were
'cause
going to
he
kill Wesley.
threw some flowers. It's
Yeah.
called Justice.
Yeah.
And and the villain is not the chicks having sex. The villain is the floating god that's above the planet.
Yeah.
That's threatening everybody. So that prevents them from just being able to solve it diplomatically.
Yeah. I mean, even though the thumbnail you made is
The
an
thumbnail,
S.
I knew you would like the thumbnail, but the villain.
But the villain is a C, maybe. You know, I think.
I think you're being generous giving it a C. I would leave
Yeah.
it a D.
D. I mean, I'll take D. I was just trying not to.
God,
I mean,
she'll take
Oh, it's
D.
It's just
look at the.
it's
Oh
rough.
man, it's too small now. Oh well.
It's not F tier, but it's definitely not. It's not good.
No, okay, so D. Okay, so D's in the
D
middle.
is
then.
fine. Yeah.
So into the D she goes.
Mm.
And let's make Takuba a little smaller.
It's more like.
All right, this one definitely not a D.
You're killing me
Shran.
with these thumbnails. Shran's not a villain.
He's an antagonist.
He's not.
He's
Come on,
not
he's
a
like
villain.
he's like Archer's best
Does it say
space buddy.
villain? It doesn't say villain. It says antagonist.
The
He's not even an
thumbnail-
antagonist.
Yeah, he's
He is at times.
he's
antagonizing,
he's Archer's buddy.
but he's not an antagonist.
Yeah, I'm vetoing this. He doesn't belong on this list. No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He has it out with the Tellarites and the Vulcans.
Super
He has nothing but
Yeah.
Wesley doesn't die. F tier.
F tier.
You know what?
amen to that.
I find we'll take Tran off the table, but what we won't take off the table, and she certainly won't take off the table,
Uh-oh.
Dr. Crusher's sex scandal.
Oh my
For the
god.
love. That's F tier.
Easily
That's
F. I can't even
a
believe
real
this is on the
thing.
list. Oh my god.
I actually watched this episode recently.
Oh, why would you do that to
So
yourself?
bad. It is so bad. It's
Why
like,
would you do this?
so yes, for those of you that don't know, she inherits a candle from her grandma that is inhabited by a alien that appears as a ghost, as a Scottish ghost, and has been having sex with every female in her family for generations. And Crusher gets some in this episode from the ghost.
whoever wrote this has got some serious mental health
James
issues.
McFadden directed this episode.
Well,
She did?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Gotta remember, she is an artsy fartsy.
She's an idiot. So yeah, I'm down for F tier, but what do you think?
Yeah. No, we all said F
I
already.
F tier right away.
Okay.
No hesitation, man.
Yeah.
Just like
All right.
James said, an F tier. Scottish Candle Gigolo.
I saw that too.
So Seska,
Oh man,
one of the few reoccurring villains on Voyager.
she's like the villain I hate to love. Because she was the only solid non-Borg related threat.
She was, you know what? The interesting thing about Seska.
She was way hotter as a Bajoran, by the way.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I
know.
didn't find her attractive at all.
Actually, she
know.
was also surprisingly attractive as the cloaking device officer on the
Yeah, she was the
Defiant.
Romulan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll say this, and I'll give him credit where credit is due. When Seska turned, I was surprised. And I was impressed that they actually had a reoccurring crew member turn on everybody to become a villain.
My problem
She had
with-
such an emotional death scene, though. Like, I mean, she
my problem
didn't
with
she kind of get
Seska-
redeemed at the end? Or sorry, go ahead.
I say my problem with Seska was there was so much contrivance engineered to create the threat.
Well, it's Voyager.
I know, but when the stupid Rastafarian people
Oh, they're on the list.
when it was clear that they were in no way interesting to anyone, man,
Yeah.
they got desperate. Let's just be honest.
Where would you
about
put
it.
Seska specifically?
Well, I mean, like, again, didn't she kind of have a redemption arc?
No, because in the end, she also had sabotage crap on board the ship that actually screwed around with them
Yeah.
in a big way too. I don't know if you remember that.
It's been so
And
long.
hear
I
you.
need to
James'
rewatch
true
Voyager.
Enemy was Decaf. That's true.
Was decaf? That's funny.
Yeah, man.
What's up, 47 Yorktown? She's, I don't know, but she's definitely compelling. And
Yeah.
she was in what, like 3-4 episodes of Voyager?
Yeah. But I couldn't go better than C. She wasn't that good a villain. But what do you guys think? Tell me what you want to go.
I mean,
I'm thinking between C and D, but what do you guys want?
I would go at most a C.
I'll
Danny,
go with
you
C.
got to decide and vote.
I'll go with C.
All right,
But that's
so-
probably just my because I still remember her death scene, and like so I thought she had.
You
I gotta
just
go back
cry
and
when
watch it.
anybody dies.
I know I'm a softie, man. It's terrible.
The Pillsbury Doughboy's a softie. You are way beyond that.
That's why. So I was going to do because one of my New Year's resolutions, I was like, hey, why not get a head start on it? Is I want to put out, and I don't want to do something unrealistic. I want to put out at least one pre-recorded solo video a week so I can get more comfortable doing it. And so I was trying to record,
Without crying.
huh?
Without crying.
So that's where this is headed. So what was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I tried to record my review of the Iron Claw, and like 5 minutes in, I was crying, and I was like, I can't. And I hit stop, and I was like, I can't post this. I gotta
Actually, you
compose
should.
this.
You should just end it where you're crying and you can't do it. People will probably love it. All right, now we got to get through at least 3 more to make people happy because,
Okay.
And preferably more than that. Sela.
Ooh, this bitch. I'd say she's an A. I give her an A. This bitch, because she uses like.
Very conniving. She's very smart, but she also
And she uses the fact that she looks like her mother against, like she
against everyone and anyone, frankly.
Yeah, and just like, and you want to like her, and you want her to end up being a good guy, but she's just such a scumbag, So yeah.
So you're thinking what, Danny? An A?
I said A. I mean, but like that's just my vote. I mean, you got you two.
I think that's a bit high, but what
I would go with a B myself.
Okay.
My problem is she's more than just the 2-part Klingon Civil War episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, the writers damaged her character as they kept.
Yeah, I think like in Unification, she was not that good.
Yeah.
But I liked her in Redemption.
So I see that you agree with Jason here.
I'm on the B tier.
The B. All right then. All right. I think she's a more compelling character than Nomad, but whatever. That's
Captain Leland, also known as the leader of Section 31, also known as the weird AI nanite thing.
I'm going to be a complete jerk. And my gut just wants to say F.
I mean, I was going to.
Are you saying F just because it's Discovery, or are you saying F because threat level? All right, he's got some compellingness. No, entertaining. No, but
my problem is he's a giant writer's contrivance.
Yeah,
and that really spoils that for me because when they showed. And, well, actually, comically enough, and yet again, so we were watching, and this is not even science fiction specifically, we were watching the latest Mission Impossible movie. And what's the fundamental basis of it? Killer AI.
I haven't seen it, so I'm not surprised, though.
My knee-jerk reaction was F.
Right. Yeah, I got to go with F, man. Like, it might be technically a giant threat, but it's too jarring.
So much.
All right. It's terrible.
Guys, I know you want this one, so here it is, and I know we're going to fight on this. Definitely not Trelane.
Ha ha ha. Okay, Q's an S, and I'll die on that hill. I'm sorry.
If we're gonna use antagonist, then he's S tier. He's S tier all the way.
Yeah, he's S.
I don't know how you guys can say that,
dude. Q's okay. As long as you ignore Picard season 2.
Well, that's part of Q's story.
Yeah, but even if you draw it in, there's way more than enough good stuff in TNG and DS9 and Voyager.
Yeah.
Okay, he's outrageously
It's criminal he wasn't in one of their movies.
Look, I will give him the entertainment factor because John DeLance just kills it.
Yes.
But at the same time, threat level, he just kind of messes with people. He's not really that threat.
Yeah, it's a democracy. You already got 2 S's here, so.
But we know that he.
Yeah, but I could ruin it by voting F and drag it down to a B.
He'll use the system against us.
He can snap his finger and wipe out entire civilizations.
That's not true. He's never done that. That's another character. The best he's done is sent the Enterprise across the galaxy by snapping his fingers. He's not wiped out anybody.
He's brought people back to life.
Individuals.
Sure.
Not
that's
I'm not
within
saying
the Star Trek.
He has no power, but he's not nearly as powerful as people think he is. They think
we know he's not omnipotent, but we also do know that he's outrageously powerful.
But you know what? We've seen Trelane do things more powerful than Q. Trelane threw a planet at the Enterprise.
I'm standing with my S tier.
Thank you.
His entertainment and compellingness
I will yield to you,
high.
But this is under protest. I'll put it up there.
I'm putting this here under duress.
Yes, only because I know everybody loves him. I just don't. I know I'm biased, so I will let it go.
No, my buddy Eric and I used to talk about this all the time. When Insurrection came out, we were like, "Why didn't they just make a Q movie? What the hell is wrong with these people?" Like,
because that would have sucked. All right,
would have been awesome.
Keep in mind, I know it doesn't appear, but this is a different character than the one we talked about earlier. Borg Queen, specifically the Voyager era.
Oh, she was a.
She's like a C tier.
That's what I was about to say. She's a. This Borg was weak.
I think more D, but I mean, she's got the threat level, kind of.
You know what?
Is under her, the Borg were wiped out by an Intrepid class starship.
Yeah. No, you know what? D. Yeah, D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I guess that's the difference an actress makes, or maybe that's why Alice didn't want to do
No,
it.
it's the difference bad writers make.
Just bad. Yeah, writers that did not understand.
Because remember,
what
Alice
they were
did
doing.
come back and play her in Voyager.
Yeah, the closing episode of Voyager.
Yeah, the finale. Yeah.
But and that's also when they. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Got to get through as many as we can. The Phage. I got to give him credit for the makeup.
Now the Phage itself, or the dudes.
People that I don't know what they were called, but were they the
Vidians?
Yeah. Okay, so the Vidians who had the Phage going around stealing body parts, which was very creepy,
very dangerous because their shield, their tech was extremely interesting and good.
So my wow, I was not expecting that. No, my best friend, the one I found dead several years ago, the name of his album was The Phage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he took it for
Sorry, don't try not to cry while we get through. We got to get through this. Right?
But that's the name of the disease, though, not the people or the villains.
Yeah, I know. I got that wrong.
Yeah.
But, so where are we going to put him?
Oh, I'd have to go with at least. Frankly, for me,
I'd
have to go
B.
B.
Yeah. What do you think, Danny?
I'm going to agree, but that's probably more of an emotional response than anything.
All right, B tier for the Phage /
and they did keep popping in and out throughout.
Yeah,
2 or 3
they were
seasons,
recurring.
So
yeah.
All right, if you guys give this one a B, I'm going to punch you both because I hate this one. I hate this one. The Power Wraiths.
It's never been explained how much power they really have, other than they were able to close the wormhole for a while.
Aren't they those are the...
They're the enemies of the prophets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole alien
and
enemies.
Gul Dukat this is actually the scene where Gul Dukat becomes one.
Yeah. So that was my ride. So this is going to have to be the last one for me. So could we please do a part 2?
Just one more.
One more? Okay. All right.
Well, I'm going to go right to it then. At best, I give this one a C tier.
Oh, I was going to say B. I'll go C then. Just to make
C
it
tier it is for the
because they could have done something better with the Paw Wraiths, but
they could have been interesting, but they just weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, because they had him on Empok Nor or the other, whichever one the other one was, that was still named by the Cardassians, doing that little cult group and everything, but.
And no bondage, we haven't done Janeway or Peanut Hamper at this point. All right, so this one, I really wanted to get to this one because remember what this one said about Q. Well, here's General Trelane, retired, definitely not Q. Now, we do see Trelane do some insanely powerful things, like throw a planet at the Enterprise.
Are we sure he's not a Q? Like, wasn't there like some kind of...
There's nothing canonical that links them. However, there is a book that says that Trelane was a young Q.
And in Lower Decks, they have that throwaway line where...
they said, "Oh, TOS era, that was Trelane, not Q."
Yeah, they had this whole Trelane thing going on back then.
Yeah.
Now, I really like Trelane because I think, and Q, by the way, was based on Trelane. That is true. The writers say it. Trelane was absolutely their inspiration for Q. They dress similar, especially when we first see Q. That's why I use that shot of Q. Trelane actually shows higher levels of power, but Q obviously has similar levels. They both do things simply by waving their hand, and bam, it's done.
Yeah, it's just we got so much more at Q. We only get Trelane one episode,
Right. Which I think is criminal because he was so interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And we find out, though, at the end that Trelane was a child.
Yeah, he was a bratty kid, which was kind of funny.
Yeah. But that's keep in mind the fact that mom and dad told Trelane to come to bed is the only reason the Enterprise and Kirk survived.
I can't go over an A though, man. I can't, just because he's only in one episode. I mean, he's compelling and he's good, but we got him for maybe 45 minutes.
I'm okay with A because
I would agree
I'll
with
give
an
you
A.
that he's not as developed as Q.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. And so
If you
we
can't
got more
save this,
than
screen
half
cap
of them
this.
done.
Oh yeah, you should screen cap that.
Okay, wait. One more. Just because
I'm going to be late. It's 6 o'clock.
This is for your friend. This is for our friend that demanded it earlier.
Okay. All right.
Moopsie.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
A bone-sucking critter.
Triple S tier.
Yeah, I mean, I have to, I'm ashamed. Yeah, this is definitely an ass. Come on.
S tier for Moopsie because Moopsie could drink your bones.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And you'll love it. You'll be like, while you're dying, going, oh.
Yeah. Yes, we know, Stan, that YouTube saves videos, but we need the high res because we need the high res.
Yeah.
So next,
we'll try.
hey,
if I can save this, we'll finish this next week, and maybe even add some more. We have lots that we haven't covered, like Armis, Nagilum, the Romulan commander from the original series.
We were talking about that chick Angel earlier, so you got to have Moriarty better be on there. So
didn't do Moriarty, but we can add him.
But he should be on there. Yeah.
So I'll see if we can save this. I don't know if we'll be able to, but I'll try. If not, we'll create a new list.
You'll be able to screen
fix
cap
Moopsie.
that.
That's too big.
I can recreate this on this page for next week if we have to. It'll take some time.
Fix that thumbnail. It's driving me nuts. Moopsie's too tall. Too tall.
Yeah, he's too tall.
Come on. It's too.
Moopsie's coming to get you.
All right.
So yes, I figured ending on Moopsie would be
all
good.
right. So I
know you got to run. Go ahead and go. Have fun.
I gotta go.
Danny's going to a big show tonight.
Love you guys. And then so tomorrow morning I'll call you for our watch along. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And
bye, everybody.
Armis is actually one that I did put on the list as well. Other ones we didn't get to: the M5, the original Ferengi, the Kazon, Empress Georgiou, Garrick, Duras, the conspiracy bugs. So yeah, there's. I was rather proud of the fact that we have soul-sucking weirdos from another dimension. Well, let's try to figure out who that is, and torture fetish weirdos from another dimension.
Soul-sucking weirdos from another dimension.
Yes.
What series?
Yes, Landry is on there too. Yeah.
What series?
It's TNG.
Oh, you talking about the Night Terrors one?
No, that's the torture fetish weirdos from another dimension. That's why I love that I was able to create two that have
soul-sucking weirdos from another dimension. I can't think of it.
Times Arrow.
Oh, the guys that yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So but the funny thing is, the soul-sucking weirdos from another dimension and the torture fetish weirdos from another dimension, same season, only 5 episodes apart.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
It's
clearly there was a theme going on in there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The Duras sisters, Captain Tracy, the Borg Collective, the Diviner Gul Dukat, of course, the Founders, Garrick, because Garrick is sometimes a bad guy, sometimes not, which is he's kind of a fun one. Lore, not reloaded, So yeah, there's a lot that we haven't gotten to, but I think that it'll be fun to get to them next week if we can. And Cronus is like, now I have to watch the Moopsie episode again. Yes. So, but our S tier is Khan, Chang, Locutus, Q, and Moopsie.
I'm satisfied so far.
Yeah. And so for people that think that, I know there were some people that were like, oh, you're just going to make TOS dominate the top. No, TOS has one spot or two spots if you count Chang on the top tier. Then A tier is the Borg Queen from First Contact, Species 8472, the Zindi, Weyoun, Old School Khan, and Trelane. So again, 2 from TOS. So TOS is not dominating everything. B tier, Krug, Kaiwin, Nomad, the Gorn Captain, Romulans from TNG, Silic, Sela, and the Vidians. C tier is Sona. How do you say his name? Soren. Sorry, it's hard to see it. It's so small.
Thank you, Mike, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Richards. So we got Soren, the Viceroy from from Nemesis, Nero, the Adria, Harry Mudd, Apollo, Core, Seska, and the Pa Wraiths. D tier, V'ger. See, we actually put TOS stuff in the bad side too. V'ger, the giant floating space turd. That's 2 things from the TOS era. Shenzon, I can't read her name, but the one that replaced,
or something like that.
Yeah, the one that replaced the Diviner. Vatic, the Space Amoeba. That's 3 from TOS in the D tier. The Sex God and the Borg Queen from Voyager. And then F tier, Not God. Again, TOS in the F tier. The Sona, the Alternate Reality Khan, Krull from Star Trek Beyond, the Zat Vash, which were just so lame, Commander Valdor, the Klingons from Discovery, but represented by Takuvma. What was that one? Dr. Crusher.
Oh, the candle.
The Sex Scandal, and Captain Leland. Yes. So it does seem that Discovery has a tough time getting out of that F tier. But, boo freaking who. And we still have lots more to rate. And this was actually kind of fun, I think. And a lot of you guys seem to agree because this is like pretty good numbers tonight for.
Oh man, we're up 32 simultaneously.
We've been hanging there most of the time, yeah.
Man, I can't wait to see the 33 even. Wow.
Yeah. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. It seems like you enjoy this kind of content.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to talk about doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, we might have to, as much as. Yeah. Anyway, I'll bring it up after in the post the post show commentary.
But absolutely, had a lot of fun with it. And so with that, guys, remember, you are the salt of the earth. I'm the salty trekker. He's the crusty-ish Canadian guy, and Danny abandoned us because he doesn't care. So I can't ask him something and cut him off. What do you think of that?
Well, you'll just